Welcome back to the DirectionalPlan.com tutorial series. In the previous video, we created our first well and generated a basic trajectory. In this video, we'll focus on targets and the different ways they can be created and managed within DirectionalPlan.com. The first thing we'll do is go to Login Sign Up, type in our username and our password, and click Login. Now, there are two different ways we can open up a well that we already created. The first way is to go to Well Actions, Manage Workspace, and expand your workspace tree. The workspace tree is where your saved work is organized. It follows a simple hierarchy: company, project, pad, well, wellbore, and design. The actual well plan is saved at the design level, so when you want to reopen this plan later, just select the design and click Open. The other way you can open up a previously saved well is by going to the Well Summary tab, hitting the drop-down button next to well name, and selecting the well. This will automatically populate your well plan trajectory with the latest plan that you had saved for that well. To create or manage your targets, click on the Targets button at the top right of the screen. This will bring up your Drilling Design Targets window, where you can enter in your target using your offset coordinates, your EPSG zone, your latitude and longitude, or your bearing direction that can be found on the plat. In our case, the first one we're going to enter will be the EPSG zone that we'll find on the plat. Make sure that you're in the right coordinate system, and we'll type in the northings, the easting, and the TBD for that target. So the first target we're going to enter will be the proposed bottom hole location on the plat. So we'll enter in a target name and a target description. Now we're using northings and eastings for our target input. So we need to go to the plat and look at the X and Y coordinates for the bottom hole location in NAD 27. Your Y coordinates will represent your northings, and your X coordinates will represent your easting. In our case, the TBD for this target can be found on the plat itself, but oftentimes you'll need to talk to the geologist to find out the TBD for the bottom hole location or for whatever target that you're targeting. Once all the information is entered in, we can do a quick check to make sure it's entered in correctly by comparing the lat and long on the plat to the lat and long that's calculated based off the surface coordinates that we typed into the drilling design targets. In our case, both of those match, so we're good to move on. We'll save the target and then move on to our next target. We're going to enter the midpoint coordinates using lat and long from the plat. So we'll enter in our target name and description. We'll pull back up the plat, but this time we're going to use NAD 83 2011 coordinates to enter in our target. So just like before, referencing the plat, we're going to type in our latitude and our longitude into the input boxes for the drilling design target for the midpoint. And our TBD in this case can be found on the plat, but like I mentioned before, you'll likely have to go to the geologist to find out the TBD for that section. We'll do another check to make sure that the NAD 83 2011 coordinates that we entered in match the NAD 27 coordinates that are on the plat, just to verify that we entered in the information correctly. In our case, they match, so we're good to save the target and move on to the final target, which will be the first take point. We'll enter in the target name and the target description. And for this target, we're going to use the bearing option to enter in the target information. We'll pull back up the plat. We'll find the bearing distance and direction and TBD and enter all the information into the drilling design targets input boxes. From there, we'll do another check to make sure that the lat and long from the calculated target location match the NAD 27 lat and long on the plat, just to verify that we entered in the correct information. In our case, everything looks good, so we'll save the target. Now, if we want to make an adjustment to the target, we go to Save the Targets on the right side of our window, click the target that we want to make an adjustment to, and we make the adjustment there. In this case, we're going to make an adjustment to the TBD, so we'll type in a new TBD and save the target. So now when we go back to that target, you'll see that the new TBD is in that input box. We're going to adjust it back to what it was before. We'll resave the target and update that target to what we had originally. If we want to delete a target, we'll click on the trash can icon on the right side of the target and click OK to delete the target. Now that we've created our targets, in the next video, the next step is understanding the different planning methods available in DirectionalPlan.com and how they can be used to reach the same objective.